Pickup trucks! Whether you like them or not, they're extremely common vehicles in the United States, Canada, and certain other countries, so chances are you'll see hundreds, possibly even thousands of them every day. But why? Why do some people love these things so much? Is it because they look cool or something? For some, that is the very answer. But truth is, they're just better than other vehicles. They can get you from point A to B like any other car. They can haul your wife, kids, cats, dogs, and budgeriggers much easier thanks to their bigger, more open space interiors. They have much higher ground clearance, which gives you a better view of the road and significantly lowers the risk of scraping the vehicle's components underneath. They tow more than any other crossover and SUV ever could. They have excellent off-road capabilities, and of course, they have powerful hauling capabilities that is only bested by truck-based vans. So with all this said, they're mechanically superior to other class of vehicles. Sorry, the truth hurts, so now it's time to get out of that dinky, tiny front-wheel drive hatchback and buy a pickup truck or at least a solid sport utility vehicle. Alright, so because pickup trucks are as common as bread out here in Canada and the neighboring states, you'll notice both newer and older models on the road, which leads to the serious question I need to chat about for the duration of this video. Have pickup trucks gotten uglier? Are they going to continue getting uglier? Or are they becoming nicer looking? Seriously, we all know that they've become significantly more technologically advanced, physically larger, safer, more fuel efficient and whatnot. But what about the styling? Is it heading towards a direction that's concerning? Now I know many of you rough truckers probably don't give two rats about the styling of a pickup truck because you see it as a machine that's meant to be abused off-road, pull a mountain across the country, or haul heavy equipment. But the thing is, pickup trucks have long lost that strict work-only image. They ride much nicer, the interiors have become much more luxurious, and crew cab models sell exceptionally well. So it is time for me to give my personal, biased opinion on the direction of where the following current full-size pickup trucks are going. The Ford F-150, Ram 1500, GMC Sierra 1500, Chevrolet Silverado 1500, Toyota Tundra, and the Nissan Titan. And I guess I'll include the Honda Ridgeline even though it's a mid-sized truck. Actually, wait! Is that thing even a truck? Isn't this thing an SUT, aka Sport Utility Truck? It doesn't even have a body-on-frame construction. It doesn't have four-wheel drive, but all-wheel drive. So what could it truly be? A butt? An illusion? A YouTube troll? A wannabe? Who knows? I just decided to include it because Honda happens to be an extremely popular brand here, and it's the largest pickup truck they make. You'll also see these things on the road a fair bit too, depending on where you live. Before I evaluate these trucks by looking at them from their front and rear fascias across generations, I need to make a disclaimer about the images and let you know that the links are in the description below for each and every single photograph you see in the video. They are used fairly for the purpose of discussion, entertainment, and believe it or not, even education. So now that I've cleared the potential image issue out of the way, it's time to get chatting. You may also want to get comfortable because I anticipate this discussion to potentially be very long, but I won't know exactly how long until when I stop talking and turn off the microphone and put this video together. So many of you enthusiasts or pickup truck people will know the Ford F-Series date all the way back to the late 1940s, so I'll only focus on the 11th, 12th, and 13th generations for this commentary. Here we have the rear of a grey 2004 Ford F-150 Super Crew from the 11th generation. Nothing super fancy or revolting, but I think it looks nice, clean, and simple design-wise. Obviously not the sharpest picture around, but it'll do. Probably should have just searched longer for a better, high resolution photo, but oh well. This is the front fascia of a 2005 red Ford F-150 from the 11th generation. Not an ugly truck, but it's no Prince Handsome either. It looks better than some of his much earlier predecessors, that's for sure, and I really like the grille and red paint job on this model. 12th generation white 2014 Ford F-150 King Ranch from the front end. It has a clean, modern look. I really like the headlights from this generation and some of the grills from select trims. This grille is okay, but the mouth is slightly ugly. Nothing serious enough that would make me hate looking at it every day though. It's a good blend of tough and regular looking. A 12th generation blue 2013 Ford F-150 King Ranch on the rear end. Wow, look at that clearance. Anyways, it has a very sharp, chiseled, tough, yet great looking rear profile. The King Ranch badging is also a great addition to this trim. Would have looked cooler with dual exhaust, but that's not something you want to throw on just for looks and no benefit. As with most pickup trucks, nothing spectacular about the taillights, but they look good here. A 13th generation white 2015 Ford F-150 Super Crew Limited. This is very ugly! I get it, this generation was a complete redesign, but did they have to make the front fascia so ugly? The headlights and mount are absolutely hideous this generation. Sure, it looks tougher and meaner, but unfortunately much uglier too. Seriously, why did they make the headlights so ugly? Oh well. Guess you won't mind scratching and nicking this ugly truck. Let's check it out from behind and see if it looks better back there. 13th generation red 2017 F-150 Platinum from a 3/4 viewing angle. Interestingly, despite looking so ugly from the front, it actually looks pretty damn good from the back. Like, really good. It looks proud, modern, tough, and awesome. It's too bad they had to mess with the front end styling. Alright, so as you can tell from the looks of this truck, Ford has made a number of changes to their F-150 light duty model for the 2018 model year. It's still a 13th generation F-Series truck, but now it's even uglier! Wow! I don't know what's Ford been thinking lately about the front end of their trucks, but they clearly don't seem to give two hoots about the styling. And it looks like their customers apparently don't care because they're still the #1 selling pickup truck in Canada and the USA. Will that eventually change? I don't think the front fascia of the F-150 will solely be enough to cause them to lose a serious amount of sales to rivals, but it doesn't mean that they shouldn't try to make reasonably good looking trucks. You can be handsome and tough looking at the same time, so go for that rather than being tough looking and ugly. Another 2018 13th generation Ford F-150 but from the rear. It looks very much like other 13th generation models from behind. And this is a good thing because the rear profile of this generation looks very good, particularly this model in the King Ranch trim with its name stamped into the center of the tailgate. I must say that in conclusion, the Ford F-150 looked its best during the 12th generation, but has gotten uglier since then, and given the direction they're going with the styling, I don't have good feelings about the 14th generation, but they could drastically change it for the better, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I know there are many of you that do not care about the front fascia of the Ford F-150, but others aside from myself have actually called it the F-150 on its styling. Ideally, an F-150 with the headlights from Generation 12, taillights from Generation 13, and dual exhaust from the Gen 13 Raptor would create the best looking Ford F-150 combined from previous design elements to create the ultimate look. Front profile of a first generation 2004 GMC Sierra 1500. A nice shade of red, great grille, and classical double stack headlights. That there is actually the beef I have with this thing. They look quite incomplete, disproportionate, and ugly. Don't know what I'm talking about? You'll see what I'm talking about when you look at the second generation double stack style or even some of the earlier General Motors pickup trucks. All in all, it's not an overly ugly looking truck, but it's not exactly good looking either. Who are we kidding? This thing's actually ugly. Another first generation 2004 GMC Sierra 1500 but from behind. I like it. Sure, it doesn't have the GMC logo loud and proud in the center of the tailgate, but I really like the taillights, oddly enough. The chrome bumper also looks good here. Second generation 2011 GMC Sierra 1500. And I love it. Love the big GMC logo across the horizontal bars, the chrome, red paint job, and nearly everything on the front of this truck. Some have said that the double stack headlights look antiquated, and while they do to a degree, I still think they look great this generation and it suits the truck's character. Probably should have searched harder to get a picture that shows the complete rear profile of this second generation 2012 GMC Sierra 1500, but anyways, this will have to do. It's obviously looking much more modern and sharp than the last generation, and that's a good thing. Aside from that modern sharpness, it actually looks very much like its predecessor aside from the taillights. So what's the verdict here? Is it ugly or nice? It's nice looking. Third generation 2014 GMC Sierra 1500. Very good looking, especially here in the Denali trim with that honeycomb grille. Would have been even better if we were blue or red, but that's just paint. The real area of praise and beauty here is the grille and headlights. They have done an amazing job with that for the third generation. If you had the chance to see how they illuminate at night, you'll see how wicked the third gen Sierras look. It is awesome. There's no mistaking them for any other truck on the road with their iconic style and LED setup. Another third generation 2014 GMC Sierra 1500. Looks great and well done. The GMC logo is proudly in the center of the tailgate and the taillights and bumper look good. The fact that this is a high-res photo also allows you to see some of the details in the taillights if you're bored or observant enough to notice them. As you likely know already, the Chevrolet Silverado 1500 and GMC Sierra 1500 received their first mid-cycle refresh that brought in a new grille, headlights, front fascia, taillights, and other bits. This here is a third-gen 2017 GMC Sierra 1500. I really like the shade of blue, but I'm not here to critique paint colors. The front looks really good, but not as good as the 2014 and 2015 Sierra, if I must be honest. The headlights and grille have become slightly uglier, but nothing serious. On the flip side, it still looks really cool at night, and again, stands out from other vehicles on the road, and even earlier third-gen Sierras. Third generation 2016 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali from its backside. The biggest difference you'll notice is the taillights. Everything else looks much the same as the earlier third-gen models. After comparing the earlier models to the mid-cycle taillights, I think I can finally say that the earlier models have better looking taillights. I don't think these lights are ugly, but I honestly prefer the taillights from the earlier third-gen trucks. So in conclusion, the GMC Sierra isn't heading towards a worrisome direction in the styling department, but it did lose out slightly during its third-gen mid-cycle refresh. Otherwise, it would have been a steady, successive improvement. Here's a first generation 2000 Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Well, what can I say? It is ancient and fairly ugly looking, but at least its double stacks look more proportionate, unlike its GMC counterpart. Mind you, disproportionate lights do not always look ugly on a vehicle, but for the case of some vehicles, they do. Despite the stale looks, I kind of like the grille on this truck. And now here's a view from behind of the first gen 1999 Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Aside from the Chevrolet bits, it otherwise looks identical to the first gen Sierra, which I praise for the outdated yet decent looking taillights. Here's a first generation 2005 Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Some have criticized this mid-cycle refresh for looking like a silly, angry man, but you know what? I honestly like it. It's got that double stack setup, but much more aggressive, and the grille looks great. And yes, I must say that I like the red painting here. Another first generation 2005 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, but from the backside. Well, I don't like the taillights as much, but it otherwise looks the same and average in my opinion, meaning it's neither ugly or good looking from this angle. If you're wondering about why I haven't commented on the GMC Sierra's mid-cycle first generation refresh, well, it's because it looks like it didn't receive a significant cosmetic change that was different enough to make it worthy to comment on. A red second generation 2012 Chevrolet Silverado 1500. It looks fantastic, and this high-res photo really helps to show how sharp it looks. I love this red paint job, the split grille with the Chevrolet cross resting between, and the sharper headlights. And this time, you can't complain about them looking angry or silly because they look proportionate and sporty. Of course, that too is subjective, and even before anybody tells you that the Chevrolet badge is supposed to be a bow tie, well yes, I know that. But you know what? It looks like a yellow cross to me, and that's the way I see it. I'm sure there are others that share the same view. Let me know in the comments below if you too personally think that it looks more like a cross. I suspect that they probably call it a bow tie to possibly avoid religious correlations. A white second generation Chevrolet Silverado 1500 from behind. Very good looking truck. I like the large, proud Chevrolet badge in the center and the taillights on this truck. Depending on how sharp your screen resolution is from the device you're watching this video on, you'll also be able to notice the flex fuel badge, which is not part of the criteria, but it's something worthy to mention since we're talking about details and other bits like that here. A white third generation Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Wow. And just when you thought the Chevrolet Silverado couldn't get any cooler, this thing is looking amazing, sharp, muscular, mean, and clean, especially in this luxurious high country trim. It's got a sweet grille and even sharper double stack headlights that look like 4 daunting eyes staring right back at you. Well done, General Motors. This is the best look yet for the Chevrolet Silverado. At least from the front. What about the back? Let's walk behind it and check it out. Another third generation 2014 Chevrolet Silverado, but in red from behind. Well, the taillights don't look as good as those on a Ford F-150, but at least the other parts of its rear look very good. Those broad, thick tires on this particular truck look like they're ready for some action. Oh, this looks quite different. Here's a third generation 2016 Chevrolet Silverado 1500. This is a mid-cycle refresh, and they've changed the looks quite a bit. While I don't hate this look, I must say that it does not look as the earlier third generation models. Yeah, the same thing I said about the GMC Sierra. How coincidental, eh? So is this ugly or nice? Thankfully, because I've seen enough of these in person, I can say that it's an alright looking truck, but I still much prefer the aggressive, four-eyed stance of the earlier third generation models. Then again, there were a number of people complaining about how General Motors has kept that ancient double stack look for far too long, so that likely may have drove them towards this more modern styling for the front end of the Chevrolet Silverado. Another third generation mid-cycle 2016 Chevrolet Silverado. I like the blue paint on this one, but anyways, the third gen mid-cycle Silverados do not have that weird busy pattern that is present on their Sierra sisters, and that's a good thing. Not that busy patterns are bad, but didn't look too good on those Sierras. And as for my opinion here, the rear profile of this truck looks very good. In conclusion, the General Motors pickup truck twins were both getting increasingly better looking until their third generation mid-cycle refreshes, where both took a slight hit, with the Chevrolet Silverado taking the worst of the two. Will fourth generation get better? Will it get worse? Let's hope they stick towards making them better. Here we have the front of a first generation 1981 Dodge Ram D150. I like it. Some 80s vehicles are very ugly, but this one looks great and charming. And very boxy, of course. It's also interesting to see that the Ram ornament is a stand-up figurine here rather than the flat badges present on the Rams of today. The rear of a first generation 1983 Dodge Ram 150. Bleh. It's stale and ugly looking. I don't like it very much at all. Let's move on to the next generation and see if it'll look better. Second generation front fascia of a 1994 Dodge Ram 1500. Okay, nice grille, but this thing honestly looks like a grumpy sperm whale or even a beluga whale with that ridiculously large protruding hood. This truck is ugly. I'm also used to seeing the Ram badge in the center where it looks more presentable and proud. Second generation 1994 Dodge Ram 1500 regular cab from behind. Does it look better from this angle? Unfortunately, it doesn't. The second gen Rams are ugly from both front and back. Though I do like the chrome tip dual exhaust on this truck. At least that's something cool looking it has on it. Third generation 2006 Dodge Ram 1500, and goodness gracious, what a mother screaming ugly truck. Like, the grille looks fantastic, but those headlights are dangerously ugly. Why? What were they thinking when they came up with the design? It's horrible. Too ugly? Let's check it out from behind. I hope it looks better back there. And here we are behind the rear profile of a third gen 2005 Dodge Ram 1500. Thankfully, the rear of this truck actually looks good, so it's too bad Chrysler had to make the face on their truck so ugly for this generation. The front of a third generation 2007 Dodge Ram 1500 Lone Star Edition. Why am I showing you more pictures of a third gen Dodge Ram? Because there were some slight cosmetic tweaks during the mid-cycle, but as you can tell from the front, no improvements have been made to the mighty butt-ugly headlights. Woo! Too ugly! The rear of a third generation 2007 Dodge Ram 1500 Lone Star Edition. I like that fancy Lone Star badging. I like the centralized location of the Ram ornament, but I honestly don't dig those taillights very much. They're truthfully ugly. The rear profiles of the third generation trucks before the mid-cycle update was when it had its best looks. A fourth generation 2013 Ram 1500. Very, very good looking. This photograph is really sharp and really showcases the brawn and beauty of this truck, especially in the Laramie trim here with that crosshair grille. What's also nice is how big, bad, and proud the cross Ram logo look here. I absolutely love it. A fourth generation 2014 Ram 1500 from behind. You know what? I think I like just about everything I see here. The taillights, the big Ram badge, the Longhorn badge, the dual exhaust, the high clearance, the chrome bumper. I'm digging it all. A fourth generation 2016 Ram 1500 Laramie Limited from the front. Now, as most Canadians and Americans should know by now, the Laramie Limited trim no longer has the Ram emblem up front nor behind, but instead has this ugly grille with the Ram brand spell on it. I've seen many photos on the internet and many driving by in reality, and I can still say that it looks very ugly. I don't know why they felt the need to screw around with the most luxurious trim on the Ram brand, but alas, they did it. And it still looks like there are people buying this ugly trim, judging from the presence of it on the road. Many have complained about it, some don't care, and some obviously like it, but thankfully it's only the Laramie Limited and Rebel trims with ugly grills. Speaking of Rebel, I'll comment on that soon enough. Fourth generation 2016 Ram 1500 Laramie Limited from behind. I must say that the rear actually looks really sharp and good looking, especially its taillights and horizontal chrome bar stamped into the tailgate. But why couldn't they leave the Ram badge alone? I'd rather have that in place over the RAM in the tailgate. Better yet, why not have two badges in place? One to the left of the Ram name tag and one to the right? Some people might say that would make it look tacky, but I think it'd make it look awesome. Comment below on what you would think of that for the Laramie Limited trim. What an ugly truck! Man oh man, why Fiat Chrysler, why? I get it, this is supposed to be something you take off road to get dirty, but still, you could have just modified one of the existing good looking trims and give it the same off-road capabilities. Why do you have to come up with this ugly brute? Worse, people are actually buying these because I've seen some on the street. Wow, red, ugly, rebellious truck. Another fourth generation 2015 Ram 1500 Rebel, but from behind. So it's the same deal with the Ram badge being replaced with RAM stamped into the tailgate. Again, this would have looked better if it had two Rams at the opposite sides of the name. So aside from this, the rear of the Rebel looks very good. So in conclusion, I must say that the Ram pickup trucks have been ugly much of their life until when the fourth generation came into play. They are among the best looking pickup trucks on the road today, so it's a shame that two of their trims, the Laramie Limited and Rebel, have tossed out the iconic Ram. I understand they're trying to experiment with new designs, but they could have at least left the Ram alone. It's already bad enough that the Dodge brand of vehicles have long lost it, so Ram should not try to follow suit. Thankfully, I hear that most of the 5th generation Ram trims will not lose the Ram, so I hope that they don't screw something else up. Oh yeah, and I know I'm supposed to be critiquing looks for this video and not touchy things like reliability, but come on. Let's see Ram seriously improve in that area. The same can be truthfully said for just about everything coming out of Fiat Chrysler automobiles. First generation 2005 Toyota Tundra. What an ugly face! It's plum purple and it looks like it's giving you a slight smile. Nothing wrong with being a purple smiley, but this particular thing has no attractive parts on its face. You ugly bad. The rear profile of a first gen 2003 Toyota Tundra. Not ugly, not attractive, just looks neutral, and a little stale to be honest, but just not ugly. Here's a front fascia of a second generation 2013 Toyota Tundra Crew Max Platinum. I guess I can say that it looks a little ugly, but not too ugly. The backside of another second generation 2013 Toyota Tundra Crew Max Platinum. Not ugly, but not the most attractive either. Ram 1500s and Ford F-150s look much better from their rear profiles than this thing. A second generation 2014 Toyota Tundra 1794 edition from the front. During this second generation refresh, I must say that it looks more chiseled and sharp now, but still looks kind of ugly. I think it's those headlights and that mouth that are causing it to look ugly. The backside of the refreshed second generation Toyota Tundra, with this one being a 2015 model, looks bland, especially when compared to the American pickup trucks. Putting the Toyota emblem back there, as well as the trim badge, will help brighten up this bland rear. So, is it ugly or good looking? Ugly and bland. So in conclusion, the Toyota Tundra started off as a very ugly brute. Even though it's improved a little, it's still kind of ugly. Hopefully they'll continue to improve, maintain their reliability, and decorate the Tundra a little more. Will we see full-size Lexus pickup trucks? I kind of doubt it, but it would be cool to see it happen. A first generation 2010 Nissan Titan. This thing looks like an ugly slab on wheels opening its mouth to take in a mouthful of cereal. A first generation 2010 Nissan Titan from the rear. I like it. It's not bad and ugly like its other Japanese counterpart, the Toyota Tundra. The front fascia of a second generation 2016 Nissan Titan XD. I like the new look. It looks much more modern, sharper, and even slightly scary. Okay, maybe the stealthy black color is giving it that slightly scary vibe, but that's okay. I like it when vehicles have a sporty, muscular, or scary front profile. The front of the new generation Nissan Titan looks great. Wow, that tailgate sure looks high. But anyways, this is a second generation 2016 Nissan Titan XD Platinum Reserve from Wait, hold on. Is it getting tiring, boring, and repetitive for me to constantly tell you what they are when you can probably see or tell from the pictures? Should I stop saying that and just get straight to my opinion or what? Oh well, this isn't a live stream with a live chat, so I can't get to see your opinion, so you'll just have to deal with it. So back to critiquing. Is this thing ugly or good looking? Good looking indeed. I don't like the taillights, but I like just about everything else, especially their extensive use of badges. So the Titan 9 obviously hasn't been around for as long as some of the other trucks, and it started off as stale and ugly, and took forever to receive a complete update. When it finally got it, they did it right. At least in the styling department. In terms of capability though, that's something you'd have to learn from other videos or websites. Well, okay, let's just state the obvious. The American pickup trucks tend to outperform their Japanese counterparts in a lot of performance-based areas, so there, I spoiled it. This wasn't even supposed to be a part of this video, but you know what? This looks way too damn cool to leave out. If you don't know what this is the Nissan Titan Warrior concept that was unveiled in 2016. I think that Nissan should seriously put this thing into production with this look unchanged, because this is possibly the coolest looking truck I've ever seen. Don't know if it's the headlights, the grille, color scheme, or utilitarian tires, but this thing does look like a futuristic warrior truck. I hope it gets the green light. And here's the back of this awesome looking pickup truck. It's sporting quad exhaust tips, cool taillights, and cool parts all around. First generation 2006 Honda Ridgeline. I like the San Marino red paint job, and that's probably it. The front of this pickup truck, or sport utility truck I should say, is ugly. Another first generation 2006 Honda Ridgeline, but in red. And yeah, this is one of those trucks that's ugly from the front but good looking from the back. Go figure. Front end of a second generation 2017 Honda Ridgeline. This photograph of it is sharp and gorgeous, and so is the truck itself. In fact, out of every single pickup truck I've discussed here, I honestly think that this truck has the most general audience appeal to it. What exactly do I mean by that? Well, it certainly doesn't look very cutesy or girly, but it doesn't look aggressive, mean, sporty, muscular, or manly either. Yet it still manages to look good without sporting a boring, neutral type of look. So nice job, Honda. The rear end of a second generation 2017 Honda Ridgeline, which is quite obviously the same truck we've seen from the front. And yes, it looks great from behind, especially with this blue paint job. Like Nissan and Toyota, Honda took a while before it moved on to the next generation. Could this be a Japanese thing? Who knows? In conclusion, this truck has gone from being an ugly brute to a very stylish, gender-neutral vehicle. Let's hope it stays that way. Alright, so now it's time for me to wrap this up and answer the final question. Are pickup trucks getting uglier? For the most part, no. Thankfully. It seems like it's just the Ford F-150 that has gotten seriously uglier, but even then, that could change if they really wanted to. One thing I want from all these manufacturers is to make an all-electric version of their full-size pickup trucks. And soon too! Not 2030 or some other kind of distant nonsense like that. Don't want them rushing making low-quality products either, but anyways. I'm Guuzaka Tube, and now I'm out.
Wow, what a long discussion! Can't believe it ended up being nearly 30 minutes long. Did you fall asleep at any point during the discussion? Or did you make it? Or did you stop watching altogether when you couldn't take it anymore? Anyways, which pickup truck do you think looks the best and which one do you think is the ugliest? Did you like this video? Comment, rate, like, subscribe, share, read my blog for information, and visit my Twitter page for my latest tweets. And do not forget to also participate in the polls in the top right corner in the I circle.